Movies. Death Note. That's a movie. It's a Netflix original movie, one that has been garnering its fair share of ire from the ever-effervescent anime community, or in this case, the ever-agrarious anime community, and I'm just pulling words out of my ass that I think might work and probably don't. Death Note, yeah. Based on an anime, from what I hear, a very well-respected anime that a lot of people like quite a bit, and not a lot of people like the Death Note movie quite a bit. I have not seen the anime. I'm going to be straight up. I've seen like the first episode, and that's it. Obviously, Tara's never seen the anime because she doesn't like fun. So this will be completely a perception from people who have not seen the anime to judge this movie fairly based on its own merits, not based on how it holds up to the series. Although, admittedly, I would like to watch the rest of the series so that I can get that kind of comparison. I think that would be interesting and fun to do. General premise, if you don't know, this kid basically...
Nat Wolf.
Nat Wolf.
Like your brother's band?
So yeah, the movie's a 1 out of 10, ending the video.
Your daddy's hair blonde.
Sure, Nat Wolf, a former Nickelodeon child star, so you know it's going to be great, comes into possession of this notebook where if you write any name and cause of death, the person will die in the way that you specify. Fairly basic concept, which of course does itself very well.
You have to picture their face. You didn't say that.
Right. I mean, if they want to know the specifics, they can watch the movie. Yeah, you have to know exactly who you're trying to kill. You have to know their full name, their face, so what they look like, because otherwise, you know, you could kill the wrong person. There are a bunch of different rules and loopholes in the Death Note, and that plays a huge part into the actual story. The death god Ryuk is constantly at the main character Light's side, trying to guide him or trick him.
I thought it was
Ryuk. We're gonna mispronounce it the entire video anyway, so yeah. Played by Willem Dafoe, in what I may say is probably one of the better performances in the movie. Willem Dafoe, the Green Goblin, the greatest actor of all time, next to my boy Nicolas Cage.
But he's barely in the movie.
Barely in the movie?
Yeah.
He's in it enough.
He's like... They make it out like he's the biggest, baddest guy, and he's so scary, and he barely does anything.
He does just enough to screw everything up.
He could be, like, not even there.
That's...
And it'd be the same.
That's not true.
Yeah,
that's not true. Willem Dafoe's great. I don't care what slander's coming from this side of me here. Yeah. So that's probably the best performance in the actual film, would be Willem Dafoe's role, just because he nails the creepy death god thing so well. The makeup is just outrageous on him. He's got all these spikes coming out of him, and his hair is ridiculous and flying up.
He's CGI. That's not him.
He's CGI? You mean to tell me that that's not the real Willem Dafoe?
Yes! His face is like CGI based on his face, but somebody else is in that suit. It's not him.
It's not the real Willem Dafoe.
Man.
It's not the real Willem Dafoe. He's not actually 8 feet tall. He's not actually hunched over and...
What are you doing?
It's not the real Willem Dafoe.
You scared me.
That's it. Even if it is computer generated, he still puts a great It does a great voiceover performance.
Did you really think that was him?
No, of course I didn't.
I can't tell with you.
It's called comic effect. Come on.
It wasn't really there.
It wasn't this. It wasn't funny.
No, I didn't get it.
Not funny.
Stop it! You're getting too depressed.
Okay, no. in terms of the actual main characters, there is, of course, Light, and then his little girlfriend,
Light Turner.
Maya.
Mia Sutton.
Nice job.
What?
You're bad with names sometimes.
Well, I just watched it again.
That's true, that's true. Yeah, so Light and Mia, from what I have heard, they're both kind of split and separated personalities from Light in the anime. They're kind of like his two sides diverged into two separate characters, which I don't know if I really like, because then you just wind up with extremely one-dimensional characters. You've got the power-hungry Mia, and then just this really stupid Light. This is one of the most common complaints I've heard about the movie, and I'm going to echo it here. The movie does nothing to make you like either of the main characters. There's not
I liked him.
You liked Light?
Yes.
Never mind. I guess some people are all right with him. I didn't think... You spent like the entire movie saying how stupid he was.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you
How
did.
stupid he was.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was stupid, but... Because he told her. The first thing he does when he gets this freaking book is he tells the girl he wants to be his girlfriend. Look, I can kill people. Oh, like that'll end good.
Yeah. Which brings me to the other major complaint that I have, outside of how little the characters kind of mean to you by the end, is the pacing is wild in this movie. In a world where you can make a Netflix original film, I don't see any reason why you should be constricted by the traditional film times and then have to cram everything in and make everything feel like a rushed mess. It was really shotgunned. Like, he gets the book, learns the rules, instantly kills someone, instantly tells Mia, then all this other shit just starts blowing up, and you don't get a second to breathe or take anything in. There's no room for subtle character development. There's no room for mulling over the implications of what's happening. It's just, boom, this happened. Now, instead of letting you imagine what will happen next, we're just going to show you immediately what happens next, which I think was a big problem throughout the entirety of the movie.
Yeah, but it's a movie, so they have to fit it all in.
Yeah.
So what's gonna happen?
But when you've got a power like Netflix and you're not a slave to the overarching film industry business, you don't have to make it an hour and a half long movie. Was it an hour and a half or 2 hours?
It was an hour and a half.
An hour and a half. See, they could have easily made it like a 2-hour movie, or even longer if they wanted to. They didn't have to constrain themselves to that hour and a half long time frame, especially when you're trying to adapt a multi-season anime. Although, from what I hear, the cliffhanger that the movie ended on is to kind of open it up to go into Death Note Season 2, so there is that. But still.
Whoa, what?
What?
You just said Season 2.
Yeah, Season 2 of Death Note.
What?
The anime has a Season 2.
Oh.
Yeah. Which would therefore allow the movie to have a sequel based upon Season 2 of the anime. That's from what I hear. I could be completely wrong. If I am, tell me. Because I need to be set straight sometimes. But, yeah, trying to fit, like, I don't even know how many episodes are in a season of Death Note. I'm actually going to check right now. Because I've got the internet right in front of me and I've got the power.
And on a side note, the music in the movie was good. I liked it.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
It was like slow-mo start, some 80s song. What was the song?
I don't recall. I'm sorry. I messed up.
Wow, it was good.
Holy cow. So, yeah. It's not necessarily broken into seasons, but it is a 37-episode anime. That's... I mean, it's not like Bleach levels where it just goes on for years and years and years and nothing happens, but it's longer than a lot of animes. So yeah, trying to cram a 37-episode anime into an hour-and-a-half movie, I mean, I understand why the pacing issues came into play then, but at least add an extra half an hour just for some moments of downtime, because a movie, to be great, I think, needs at least some moments of downtime and development. If the movie is not given time to develop and breathe, and you just got the gas pedal floored the entire time. There's just something that feels lacking about it. I mean, you look at movies like, I don't know why I'm taking this as an example, but like The Hateful Eight. It was not all people betraying each other and blood and guts the entire time. It was a lot of, okay, kind of slower scenes of dialogue.
That movie was long.
It was long. And Death Note could have been long, too, because it wasn't even a theatrical release. Like, they could have done whatever they wanted with it. I don't know why they opted for an hour and a half of very rushed pacing.
Yeah, but it's not like a great movie or anything, but it's still, like, fun to watch. I liked watching it.
Well, yeah. Death Note is a fun movie to watch. It's very, very flawed, and I would never call it great. I would also not call it a complete and utter waste of time, like a lot of people have been calling it. I've heard some people call it like a rewritten Final Destination movie, which isn't quite accurate because there's only like 2 Final Destination-esque scenes in the whole thing, and that's kind of in like the start of the movie to set everything up. I guess I should talk about, the other half of the movie, the fact that there's like this agency trying to track down who he is and everything, who this killer is, because of course he gives himself an MO, leaves a mark everywhere, is stupid about the whole thing, and basically screws himself over by setting up this massive amount of murder. It's all against known criminals, to begin with at least. All like these huge crime lords are killed off one by one. They put this name on the wall, everything.
He clearly has never watched Law and Order because everything he does points directly to himself.
Episode 2, and we are already 100% on the Law and Order references.
Yeah, that's right. They're gonna keep going.
So, yeah, and this brings forward what I would call the second best acted role. What was the guy's name? It was just one letter. It was L?
L.
L. I was right. Alright, L. Let me get who portrayed him up here, because I was not familiar with the actor prior to this movie here, but Lakeith Stanfield. I thought he was very entertaining throughout the entire movie.
Yeah, he was.
He was an interesting character, far more interesting than either Light or Mia were throughout the entire film. L was like, he was the true protagonist, I feel. He may have had less overall screen time than Light. Maybe he didn't even have that less screen time, because...
Yeah, he did.
He did. But he was in a lot of the movie, which I feel is fortunate, because he was captivating the entire time. He was... Every little, like, movement and mannerism that he did had you question, okay, what is this guy's background? Which rolls right into another grievance of mine, and the fact that his entire background was kind of crammed into like a 2-minute montage scene of somebody searching through his past, and that was it. And there were just like passive references to things that may or may not have happened to him in that past life and everything, in his upbringing and whatnot. And it all kind of felt just kind of shoved under the bed. And very brief reveal for what could have been something far more interesting. See, I'd rather see a spinoff about L than anything else, because he was the most interesting part by far for me. So yeah, shout out to Lakeith Stanfield and Willem Dafoe for both putting great performances into this movie. They both did a good job. Mr. Naked Brothers Band I was not so captivated by, but I liked him fine.
Love you, not
The girl, I have a feeling, let me get her name up too, so I can give these people their due praise here.
She should have been played by Emma Roberts, really.
Margaret Qualley.
She's pretty much Emma Roberts.
Margaret Qualley's got that whole thing where, like, I have a feeling that after this, she's going to be, like, typecast as, like, the psycho girl that you shouldn't date, but the main character still winds up doing, and then everything falls apart. She was fine. She did the role fine. But again, it was just a very one-dimensional role. There was no real, like, no giant shockers in anything that the character did throughout the whole movie. It was just kind of on rails, and you knew it was coming. So, there's that. Thoughts on that performance?
On hers?
Yeah.
No.
There you go. That's that's all you need to know. No thoughts about her performance from Tara whatsoever.
I liked in the beginning when she was cheerleading and smoking at the same time when she was on top of the other girls.
Quality. Last major character to probably note would have been Light's father, James, portrayed by one, oh, geez, I hope that name's pronounced Shea. Oh yeah, Franklin Shea Wiggum Jr., or just Shea Wiggum. Most known for being on the TV show Boardwalk Empire. I know this because I'm just reading his Wikipedia page out loud to you.
Wow.
I really haven't seen him in anything else prior to this, to my knowledge, except for The Wolf of Wall Street, but I don't really recall his role in that a whole lot. It was a smaller one. Fast and Furious people will know who he is, more than likely. But, yeah. He did a pretty good job. Pretty decent portrayal of a frustrated cop who's just trying to figure stuff out. I won't go too deep into his part in the storyline, because...
There's not really much there.
Damn.
Well, there wasn't. He wasn't... I mean, he was in it, but not... He wasn't doing a whole lot.
I guess that's true. He didn't really change everything up that much. Cat. Psychotic cat. Overall, again, not a bad movie. Not an amazing movie by any stretch of the imagination. Solid 5 out of 10.
5.
5 is average. If 1 is terrible, it gives you like... You got like terrible, bad, mediocre, below average, average, above average, good, great, amazing, perfect. 5 is, yeah, 5 is fine.
I give it like a 7.
You
Because
gave Wind River a 7.
No, I gave that 7.6. I give it like a 7 because I like movies that are like this. They're not really that good, but they're fun to watch.
It was fun to watch, yes. But because of the objective quality of the film in terms of how things were, like, paced and some of the acting and all of that, I have to give it a 5. Even if it was fun enough to watch, I still don't feel like it was particularly great. And that's why it nets a 5 from me. Again, 5 on my scale is not bad. That is average. That is middle of the road. That is... not remarkable. It's a lot of people are going to look at a 5 and think, oh, absolutely bombed, worst movie ever, because people are like that when they look at rating scales. But yeah, that's how it's going to be from now on. A 5 for me, middle of the road. I'm guessing it's for her. It's going to be more like a 7 is the middle of the road so far.
Probably.
Yeah.
5, I'd give a bad movie. 5.
You are part of the problem. So yeah, those are general thoughts on Death Note. It's got its faults, but if you enjoy kind of quicker popcorn flicks, it's worth watching. Do you have any interest in watching the anime after watching the movie? I know you don't like anime. I mean, you thought that Princess Mononoke was like a 4.
I don't even remember what happened in that movie. It was all a blur. Probably not, no. If it doesn't have Mac in it, I don't want to see it.
Well, we're going to watch it anyway. And she deflates. Not the anime fan at all. Alright, anyway, that's the general thoughts. Thank you for watching. This is Cinema Scrutiny with completely uneducated opinions on films. We'll be back with you next time.